stage. And when we go from the setting up, we are still at the very early stage of this business. When we are going to the services of that, of course, we are starting with system design, interoperability testing, network design, network optimization, optimization in the sense of hybrid, and we have several hybrid ideas in this one, and I would like also to name it. We have the hybrid between satellite and terrestrial. We have the hybrid between different frequency, different spectrum, UHF, L-band and S-band. In many cases, will be likely to combine UHF and S-band. The trial was practically also showing that. And of course, we have the hybrid between pure broadcast networks and bidirectional network, whatever the bidirectional is. Most probably it will be 3G, but in future it will be LTE. So these ideas we bring together in an end-to-end solution with all the services around. And when somebody wants to have a network outsourced, then of course we can do that in terms of operation and maintenance. Now, we spoke about hybrid, and even Albertis was speaking about somehow to optimizing the different bits and pieces which are available. And this picture is more or less the same picture as from Albertis before, a little bit reshuffled, because we truly believe that there are 3 or 4 technologies, 3 or 4 frequencies available, devices available, and we need to cherry pick and bring the optimum together. Because as the history has shown, in DVB-H, for example, the business case is not easy. The business case for a deployment of one network with one technology on one frequency and getting a return on investment is pretty tough. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's quite hard. So we desperately need to find some synergies, and we believe there are different use cases. It's urban indoor, it's outdoor, it's suburban areas, it's of course vehicular service where the speed comes into the picture, and it's also services in rural outdoor or indoor environments. So we need to put this together, and our belief is take UHF where it has the advantage, take S-band where it has the advantage, take the satellite for covering everywhere, take the gap fillers we spoke about with RAI in the urban areas, most probably in S-band. Why? Because then you can reuse 3G sites, existing 3G sites, which we have proven with 3 in Milano. And when we want to have the interactivity or emergency or whatever service, you have the 3G network in the backup. And when you want to have video on demand, which is, of course, also a driver, you mentioned TV alone will be not sufficient, I agree. So video on demand will come. Then you again have the 3G network in the background. So this is a bit our vision. And putting together these different standards is also a topic in DVB. We are working, most of us also heavily in DVB. There you see that already from the chipset perspective, we have done this hybrid idea already. We have today chipsets available. Dipcom can speak much more about that, but there is DVB-T, there is DVB-H, there is DVB-SH, and also other standards like MediaFlow or CMMB in one chipset already. So from the end user and from the terminal side, this is already possible, and we will see what is happening in the future with DVB-T2 and maybe or maybe not DVB-NGH coming into the picture. So also from that side, you see that it's not either or, it's as well as. Now, what are the improvements? I just quickly put it on the table, a bit to quantify it also. Again, I take DVB-H as a benchmark. When you go the route of just improving the waveform, then you have turbo coding, you have time interleaving, and you get around 6 dB in terms of C/N. This is proven by various field implementations already. One of it was mentioned before RAI. When you go in with the same solution, with the same waveform into DVB-SH, you have some additional things which you can benefit on, which is the satellite terrestrial SFN, which is quite important but needs a very sophisticated network design. Therefore, I'm mostly not speaking about repeaters, because de facto what we are installing is not a repeater, it's a transmitter which is fed by a separate backhauling system. Why? Because for benefiting out of this SFN gain, you need to have a full synchronization of all the transmitters in the system, including the one which is in the orbit. And when you do that, you have a significant satellite terrestrial SFN gain, which was one of the positive surprises in the trials we had. And you have also some other antenna-oriented benefits, for example, diversity gain, which fortunately bring a lot of benefit, especially in difficult reception conditions, for example, indoor. And last but not least, you have also the option to play with a waveform, OFDM, and TDM. So when you put this together and you do a clever planning from the end user perspective, you don't even realize whether your terminal is now receiving S-band from the satellite or S-band from the terrestrial or from a broadcast side or even from a UHF side or, in an ideal world, even from a 3G network. So this is our vision, that we hide practically all that information what is here on the screen from the end user. It must be a service which is in most cases TV or video delivery in a totally seamless way. When we achieve this one, then we believe we can get a positive business case out of it. Now, to close a little bit, we have thought a lot about the market, our estimation on the market, others' estimations on the market. DVB-SH coming into the picture originally late in the market, now practically head-on-head with others. So my belief in the future, in the next few, let's say, days until the launch, but also years to come for a real wide mass deployment is the following. Yes, we have terrestrial DVB-H in UHF available, some with good business cases, some with less good business cases. I put in brackets those which are installed but not in operation for whatever reason. Most reasons are regulatory-wise. Then we believe that, of course, there will be a deployment further on UHF, but even today we can complement it with S-band already for cost reasons. And then, of course, it will be complemented in the same technology, in the same frequency, S-band, with satellite coverage. And this is practically the vision we are having for the next few years. And when we have that, and now it's drawn just for Europe, then we should have a real mass market compatible European-wide service. I put even Russia here on the picture because they're having exactly the same way of thinking and his issues in the digitalization of their TV. One last word on this slide. What we are doing in other regions of the world is exactly this. In America, in North America, in ICO, we are doing a combined satellite terrestrial network. In this case, the satellite is already in orbit for about 1 year. Yes, in April 2008 it was launched, and we're just now at the end of the beta test phase. To close, this is my usual final slide because it is the ecosystem slide and it's growing and growing. I guess from the last version I've shown in one of these conferences, there is a new player there, Quantum, and a few terrestrial component players are there as well. So you see, we need to play, and this is my mission, to play with all the ecosystem players so that all the bits and pieces have a positive tick on the checklist. Thanks a lot.